Okay, so this week I've attempted to make a cityscape out of OSM files. So OSM files are um, open city maps. They're data maps. You can get them from websites like this one. Um, you can go into wherever you want and say you want New York City. You can go to New York City and see all these buildings. You can be like export and manual selection. Then you can size it up to whatever you want. And then you can go export and then it'll download down there. This file type gives a lot of information. Yeah, and yeah. Okay, so the problem here is Unreal Engine doesn't normally take OSM file types. Defaultly, you need to add a plugin of some sort. I was searching around and I couldn't find any plugins at first, so I went to Blender and I was gonna make a cityscape in Blender.
You should take this online Blender course.
Just one sec.
It's taught by an expert.
Okay. This kind of cityscape in Blender through a plugin that can take the OSM files. The OSM files kind of give you this when you bring it in. The thing is, Blender, you need to buy a special program, costs money. But when I was looking into other options, I came across some free options that I couldn't get to work because complicated. But then I ran into two other things. I ran into Unreal Engine actually has a plugin that will work that someone built. Yeah. So it's right here. Okay, so this page here explains what the plugin is, and it's a very similar kind of concept, what it can build, the height map data and width of buildings and stuff, large quantities. And it explains how to get the plugin working. The problem is, I've tried quite a lot to get it working, and this is the map that I tried getting it on. So I get the plugin. Okay, so this comes up when I restart the program after adding the plugin folder in. So I downloaded this folder from the website, which has a plugin in it. I dumped in a folder called plugin, which I made, which, from my understanding, I was supposed to make because there is no plugin folder, and this is where it's supposed to go. And this is what comes up every time. City could not be compiled. Try rebuilding from source manually. I'm gonna have to look into that. It's 3 a.m. right now, so I'm thinking I'm gonna need to get some sleep. But so I'm gonna probably try sometime tomorrow. But there's a few other things I did try. So let me show you how I did this real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete what I did, and I'm gonna open up Unreal Engine. And I'm just going to create a new project. And let's call it city. And it's located where the other file was located. Okay, so I know this is a bit of a makeshift way of doing it, but plugins. When I've tried to just stick the plugin folder in here in the past, oh, can't see it, can you? So when I've tried sticking the plugin folder in the project folder in the past, it recognizes that it's there when I search for it, but I can't get to it. So I found a workaround that isn't perfect because it's not quite working, which is to go ahead and create a new plugin in the exact spot. And I'll create it with the exact name, which is what was it again? Street maps. So streets. So I'll go ahead and do that. So now Unreal Engine knows to look for street maps, and it's enabled, which is good. So then I'm going to this is where the project file is, plugins, street maps. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to replace it with the proper one. So now if I X out of that, if we go in and check on it, it's still there, which is good. I don't believe I can bring in the proper file type, the OSM file type yet, but let's go ahead and give it a quick try. If it works right, it should be able to go right here, and it would be good. It said failed. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save all. I'm going to exit, and then I'm going to try to reopen this project again and see if that works. Okay, so this is the city project. It's going to ask me to do something, which according to the tutorial, this part is correct. It's the next part that pops up that's an error that's unexpected, and I haven't done enough research as of yet to figure it out, which I'm going to have to do if I'm going to get this to work. Okay, so again, that message that I read earlier. So I have to problem solve that. It's a bit late tonight to do that. But I ran into something that I think you'd be really curious to know about. So this is Google Earth Studio. So Google Earth Studio pretty much allows you to make cinematic sequences out of Google Earth. I went ahead and I applied to have access to the beta software of this. Um, I'm assuming it'll take a few days or a week before they get back to me with a way to get into here. Because for my MFA thesis project, I need different environments to work with. Um, and the cityscape isn't actually the most important. Like, okay, it would be nice to have some sequences where I'm going to somewhere, but then, the sequence is going to be most likely inside the building at that point. And even if it's not, how this Google Earth Studio works is it exports a couple files to After Effects. One of it is a 3D tracked camera. And then whatever file, which I haven't actually used it yet, the program, that goes along with it, which I think it may be a video file that represents whatever you did in the Google Earth Studios. Another thing that it's not related to me, but you'd be interested in, I'm sure. Google Earth has VR now. It's, yeah, Oculus Rift. It's available for, and then you can use it in other types of VR. So that's something that I'm sure you'd be interested in, probably, if you don't know already about it. Okay. So I'm gonna try to problem solve this. If I have trouble with it, I'll leave it on hold for a week or two and problem solve it here and there. And I'll just move into interior environments because I could technically just use static meshes in Unreal Engine and just kind of build piece by piece by piece to make a city. Which I will end up doing, especially if I can't automatically generate something from the height map data of, from the actual world. I did come across a program which I don't think for academic purposes I'd be allowed to use because it could be considered plagiarism. It's a program that rips 3D assets from pretty much anywhere. It's from video games, from Google Earth. So technically, I could rip a section of Google Earth and then bring into, I think Blender, maybe Unreal Engine. I think both. But simply stealing it like that probably wouldn't be good academically to do. So I'm gonna avoid that unless you tell me otherwise. And I have a link to that program, which I can show you if you're interested later. I haven't actually downloaded it yet or tried it, because I didn't see that much of a point to that. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this week. I'm just telling you what I've been researching and coming across. I came across a lot more programs with plugins for Blender, and some seem promising, but I want to see if I can get Unreal Engine to work with it first. If not, I'll go back to Blender or just hand model it all with static meshes and stuff. Okay, that's it for this week. See you in the morning.